We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Hear the drummer get wicked. Here we go again.
Hey, it's Kennedy, my brother from another mother. What up, though?
What's good with you, brother?
Man, you thundered out over there, man.
You know, gotta do it. You know, we got a big game tonight. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We kind of pooped the bed on Sunday. So we got we gotta get that redeem back. Now, speaking of that though, so I was talking to somebody and they were saying that the Lakers is actually sitting like almost all their team, bro. I said, man, listen, they don't want that smoke, bro.
It's about that time, man. It's about that time of the year where people start to. So this is the thing about it. I think that it does feel like they don't want them to get that lick back, right?
Yeah. Here's the problem with that. The West is too congested for them to be doing that right now. Because this is the thing. If the Houston Rockets win one more game, they clinch, I think, the second spot. But outside of that, you got to look at Denver's in fourth with 47 wins. Then you got to turn around and then the four teams right after Denver all got 46 wins. So at any given point, any one of them could be either possibly in the A spot or end up in the play-in. So there's no room for error to be sitting up there trying to do that right now. That's what I was talking about.
If there's no room for error, why did the Nuggets fire their coach?
Bro, that's a whole different topic. We'll get into that after the music.
Let's do it.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Yep.
Hey, if you haven't already, let me start that back. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms. Wait a minute. Wait.
Run that
If
back.
you haven't, no, because I thought about something. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages and Instagram pages. And your boys is on TikTok now with it. Be sure to like and subscribe. You click on the notifications. You click on the bell. You get the heads up whenever your boys and Miss doing a thing. Ace Kennedy. Mike Malone. What we doing about it?
Man, so it's tough, right? Because obviously the Denver Nuggets have been on a 4-game losing streak. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it still felt premature to panic so early on thinking that I don't know if you say the coach, lost the team or whatever the case may be. It's a weird predicament. This is like, I said they're fourth in the West. So it's not like that they are in a position to where they, might not make the playoffs or whatever the case may be. So you still got a great chance to make the playoffs. So why they decided to do this is a little weird. And they also got rid of the general manager too. Rumors about it are saying that they were planning to do something in the beginning, like they were gonna do something regardless, like at the end of the season, and so they're kind of just gonna go ahead and jump out in front of it. So that's kind of what I've heard. But I think the rumor though was just that they were only gonna get rid of the general manager. But maybe the fact that them boys have been losing the 4 games, it could be that they was just like, man, look, we're gonna go ahead and just do this right now, bro.
This is okay. Let me tell you this. This is one of the problems I have with this. One of the problems that I be having with stuff like this, man, is when this happens to small market teams,
Mm-hmm.
right? Here's what I mean by that, right? So if you're a small market team like the Nuggets, right, like the Pistons, like the Bucks, and the only way that you can get superstars is if they're homegrown, right? And you finally get a coach to coach your homegrown players, and now that coach is also part of the team's culture, the team's fabric, right? And they've been doing everything with the identity of the team, including this particular guy, though, right? And then when you start to think, all right, the Bucks are going to have the same issue with Giannis. Your window, they had the same one with Giannis. Matter of fact, your window of opportunity now with that superstar is only going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think that what they were thinking is that they um, had to do something to capitalize on Yoke's prime, right? Like the Bucks are in a scenario right now. They fired their coach, they fired Budenholzer, right? And then fired his replacement as well, though, right? And they fired his replacement when he was like in second or third place or whatnot, though, man. And I think that ultimately what they're trying to do is they figured that we were going to do something either way. I think that they feel like Mike Malone was losing the team, which whatever that means, right? I know that there was one time a couple of months ago. I remember him saying uh, that the team wasn't really watching tape on. It wasn't scouting like that. The players, I don't know. It's like he figured that the team wasn't doing the same things they were doing before. But I feel like, bro, that ultimately they won a championship, and people are forgetting about that championship because it's been so long ago. It's
Mm-hmm.
just Bucks. The people are forgetting about the Giannis ring, and even though you got it, it's like, all right, well, what else? What have you done for me lately, though, bro? And I think that was what 2 years ago, 3 years ago that they won it.
Right.
Uh, I do find it kind of interesting that to me, if you're going to fire the if you're going to fire the coach, you might as well fire the general manager as well, because I think that they run in pairs. That's a shared vision, right? Um, to me anyway. And so I think that when you fire a coach, you should fire the person who hired the coach, because that's like I said, shared vision, unless you already have the replacement on your sideline or you have the replacement already lined up. So that's my question to you. Who do you see the Bucks replacing him with?
I mean, I can see him going after Memphis's coach because, again, one of the issues that they said is Mike Malone is real stern, and the players aren't having fun right now. Like they're not, there's no joy with playing the game. So you look at Memphis with all of those young players like John Morant or whatever the case may be. That seemed like they would have more of a college vibe, and they were successful when people were healthy. So I think that's a great option because he's an incredible coach.
That to me makes the most sense. Here's what I think. I think the only way that you don't do something like that is if you're in a scenario where you go with a guy that's already on the team. Like when Doc Rivers got fired from the Clippers, they had Tyronn Lue you up. That's what you was here for, right? They had him as the eventual replacement, right? And even on the Lakers, I think that when the Lakers had Jason Kidd, it was almost like, well, they were almost not that the Lakers were going to get him as their head coach, but I thought that he at least interviewed or there was some type of potential. I think that this is the other question I have for you though, bro. Like how long after a coach wins a championship, is their job safe? Because I remember Doc Rivers, he's only won one. And if you didn't know better, you would think Doc Rivers just have won 7, 8 championships, bro.
Mm-hmm. I think, man, I think you have 2 years after you win a championship. You're safe for 2 years. After that, if you're not back in the mode of winning again, then it's gonna be like, all right, bro, I appreciate you for giving us that championship 2 years ago, but we thought we was gonna be winning a little bit more than just, you know what I'm saying, that one championship.
Frank Vogel got fired the next year after he won his championship. Bud Budenholzer got fired. Um, Now he didn't got fired. It took Doc Rivers like 8 years of being with the Clippers before he got fired.
Right.
It took him maybe another 5 after with the Celtics. Like the NBA just won't let Doc Rivers not be on the sideline, bro. So I don't know, bro. I just thought that with Doc Rivers' lifeline, maybe teams have learned from
Mhm.
that, but I don't know, man. It's very unfortunate, but I think that I feel like ultimately, bro, that they didn't want to waste. They didn't want to feel like they're wasting Joker's prime, though.
I mean, I get that, but you could have waited to after the season, though, bro. I mean, it's not like you're gonna make any real big, significant coaching moves
During the season.
during the season. I'm just saying you're in season, so there's gonna be more shakeups with other teams. So I just feel like you jumped the gun. Like, finish the season out. Y'all boys is fourth in the West. It's not like you're on the bubble or you might make the play in. You're fourth in the West. Yes, you lost 4 games, but that sometimes that's the turnaround you need, right? What's up?
I got a separate question for you because you brought up the Rockets earlier, and I think that the Rockets are so much more improved because ultimately they had a lot of the same roster that they had last year when they were trash, and they got Ime Adoke as their coach, bro. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I think is funny to me, bro? He's the most hateable, likable person on the sidelines, bro. He makes me root for him, but hate him at the same time, though, bro. Like I hate how when his team was getting into the scuffle with the Lakers, that he was the one stepping to LeBron. I hated that he was the one stepping to Steph the other day when they won. They were complaining about he was talking about the Rockets being physical with the Warriors and them complaining to the referees. And they was being very physical because I was watching that game and I saw that they, was grabbing Steph 2 hands to prevent him from running off the screen. They were doing that. But I think that he is going overboard with his team trying to take on his identity. Like if they haven't just yet, because at some point the players are going to have to play it. But he makes me hate him just because I hate that he tries to, because he was a former player, that he tries to insert himself into player business,
Now,
player uh,
do you feel that
conflict.
same way about Bickerstaff with Detroit?
I don't see Bernie Bickerstaff. I don't see Bernie Bickerstaff. I don't see Bickerstaff getting into it. Like he's insisting that, like, if there's a scuffle, he's like a guy who comes off the bench and tries to get involved with it because he ain't go. Him getting suspended for a couple games ain't gonna hurt the team. Like he's that guy to me though, bro. Like it's just
I mean, they seem to have I mean, ever since he came to Detroit, though, he seems to have that personality now where he doesn't mind getting. I mean, shoot, he got ejected the other day with all other 7 people that was involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Because when the players were trying to get broken up by the coaches, then he was going at it, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like you said, the players were already into it. It is already turned into what it was. Why would the coaches then have to get into it, right?
you know what that almost reminds me of, like, who there. So I don't think that Bickerstaff is one that I hate like that, but I think it's always the ones that used to play in the NBA or the
Mhm.
ones that were close. Like I think that it's almost like the Celtics coach.
Yeah.
It's like I want to root for him too, but I also can't stand him really. So he's like 50-50 depending on the day. But he's part of the reason why I don't root for the Celtics to just be as good. I like Jalen Brown, but the Rockets, like Ime is part of the reason why I can't like it's like I like seeing Houston play well though, bro. Kind of hate him though, bro. And it still doesn't help that he used to be with Nia Long and did my girl wrong like that though, man.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Yeah, but Houston's playing well, man. I think that, like I said, they get one more win, they should clinch. But
It's all him too. I mean, listen. They have a lot of the same guys, and don't get me wrong. I think a lot of those guys are better than
Mhm.
what they were before. But I think that at the same time, though, man, I would be remiss if I didn't give him the credit for the turnaround because they have a lot of the same roster that they had last year when they
And
looked like just an AAU team out there and a
yeah.
not good AAU team at that.
So it was funny because somebody asked me at work, they was like, when has it ever been like a coaching change and then there's been some significant change? And I was like, Golden State. And he was like, okay, well, outside of that, I said Boston. He was like,
Boston.
I said, bro, it can happen. Like, we gonna look back at this if let's say Denver goes and wins the championship, right? Were they wrong?
Well, it also and so if you want to go as far as that, right? I think that the Clippers, right? The Clippers letting go Doc and then getting that boy Tyronn Lue up there. The Kings, they let go Mike Brown and Doug Christie, got them back at least where they were before.
Yeah, but we talking about winning
Uh
championships though.
win the championship.
That's
Yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
the
Like that
Celtics.
much of an impact because the whole point, if you gonna make a coaching change this late, it better be to win a championship. Because otherwise, what are you doing? Because what kind of pressure are you putting on whoever's the interim or whatever the case may be? The thing is that it what if you the same thing how we looked at what was it Adrian whatever his name was the who Doc replaced from the Bucks when they were
Adrian Brantley. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
They had a winning record and you replaced them with Doc. So it's like when you're doing something that significant, it better be because you win in a championship.
Facts. Big facts. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Did you watch any of the NCAA games championships?
So you know what's crazy, man? I realize how like up and down I am with the NCAAs. So I did watch the Sweet 16s, but I didn't watch anything really before that, and I haven't really been paying attention to it like I wanted to. I think part of it is that a lot of the guys, like I was waiting to see, I was mainly watching to see how some of the freshmen that I had previously been following in high school, how they would perform. But once I didn't see them really giving it up like that, I was kind of like, so I haven't really been paying attention to it. I did watch every minute of last night's game, and I was thoroughly impressed. Enjoyed every minute of it, though, bro.
Who was you going for?
You know what's funny though, man? I wasn't really rooting for anybody, right?
Okay.
Because it's like, all right, for me, it's like if Texas isn't in it, then I don't really have a stake one way or the other. Part of me kind of wanted Houston to win only because it's been so long since they've won something like that and they're getting closer to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of wanted Houston too, but I wasn't rooting against Florida either, though, man.
I didn't watch one drop of the game, like not even a
Oh,
minute.
it was excellent. I knew that it was going to be a close game all the way through. At max, the lead got up to maybe 10 or 12, and I think, oh, Houston is about to run away with it. And then after just as soon as that happened, though, man, Florida started gaining on them, and it's just it was crazy. Now I do feel terrible though, man, because one of the young boys who's a star player out there, man, just ended the game on two of the craziest turnovers you can imagine. I mean, it looked like one of the turnovers looked like him just trying to do too much. You out here trying to do way too much. The second turnover was even worse because then it was like one of those where you look like you're about to shoot it, but you're not expecting the defense to jump out there on you. So you let the ball go and you're trying to shield it. It looked like some LA Fitness stuff though, bro. And I felt terrible for him after how he's performed for you to go out like that. I felt terrible for him though, bro.
Yeah. What about the women?
So, the women's, I think that the part that I was more so surprised about, I personally like to see Dawn Staley win only because I think Dawn Staley is one of us, though, bro. She's of our generation, and I like to see our generation win as much as possible. But I think that I wasn't surprised because I also kind of wanted to see my girl Paige Buckers win. But here's the thing I think that's crazy to me, though, bro. I was very surprised at by how much they won by. Like they was whipping South Carolina. Like I ain't seen South Carolina get whipped ever.
Right.
So that was probably the most shocking thing about it. It does bring up, me and List. It makes me wonder now where does Paige fall on the all-time list for women?
She had injuries, and so she fought back. She did her thing. I didn't follow her like that to know like stats and that type of stuff. Again, but I openly have said that I don't really follow college like that. So I can't even, I know some of the bigger names. I knew who she was, and I remember her, playing in stuff before. But I'm just saying, I don't follow college like that to know that impact of that. But I do think that, so I couldn't say where I think she ranks as far as the women is concerned.
So let me tell you this though, man. That her senior class, and when I say her senior class, I mean high school.
Mm-hmm.
Her senior class was her, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark was in there. What's the girl who played? I think she played I think it's Lisa Cordosa. I'm probably butchering her first name, but all of these girls that are that were in their class, a lot of them, bro, are in WNBA players that are playing really good to significant minutes. The reason why I was asking where does this rank because I saw a debate on ESPN and it was about the women, and part of what they were saying is that some people had Caitlin Clark as the greatest, the GOAT female player of college basketball history all time, right? And then somebody said, "You said you too?"
I said, "Makes sense why they would think that."
Okay. So someone said you can't be the GOAT in college basketball without the rings, right? You can't. There's no way that you can discount somebody else who has the rings by that much.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that because we can name Caitlin Clark. There's some people that won the ring that we can't name.
Here's what I think. That is very true. You can't. That is a very good point. But here's my point in saying that. I think personally, Brianna. I don't know how I muted myself. Brianna Stewart to me is the GOAT. Brianna Stewart has 4 championships. She won the most outstanding player all 4 years, right? Got all of the hardware, all of the stats you can think of. I think that after her, it's somewhere around like Diana Taurasi, Shamika Holdsclaw, Maya Moore, all of them out there at Connecticut. Like they was given the hardware, the player of the year, all of that stuff. And I think that and I get that Caitlin Clark helped push women's basketball to the next level. She transcended. But I think that to me, she while she did and she puts the popularity of it, I just don't know how you can say that she's a better all-time player than Maya Moore and Stewie because they won so much.
Okay, let me ask you this though. Okay. Because you and I talk about LeBron and Jordan all the time. So if you just put stats on paper, if like you remove the names, you ask somebody that didn't know anything about basketball, and you put stats on paper, people are probably more than likely would say LeBron is the GOAT, right?
Right.
Okay. But then you start talking about impact. And you say, who changed the game of basketball? Who's done this? That's something to argue. So what I'm saying is, now I can understand if we were having this discussion about WNBA, I get it, because now you're expected to win, right? For instance, like Ja Morant, we know he's a great player. Anthony Edwards, we know he's a great player, but we ain't putting him in the category of Steph, LeBron, and all of them right now because
Not yet. Not yet.
I
Right.
know. But in college, though, while I understand the accolades of Maya Moore, I'm just saying the impact of the eyes that Caitlin Clark brought to the game cannot be just counted out like that, though. In order,
I agree with that 1,000%. But what I'm saying is that impact for me doesn't supersede how much Breonna Stewart won while also putting up amazing numbers, the same similar numbers that Caitlin Clark was putting up, but while winning the championships as well, though.
understood. But okay, who has more rings than Jordan?
Robert Ory, Bill Russell. There's some Celtics teams. Havlicek, all of them boys.
Okay, so are they better than Jordan? Are they the GOAT over Jordan?
So here's the thing about it though. They aren't the GOAT of Jordan. What I'm saying is this. I'm saying set aside the championships. I'm saying the play. Breonna Stewart is a hooper.
We're saying the same thing. I am totally on board with what you're saying. I'm not discounting none of that. The only thing I'm bringing to the table is, but even though all of the stuff that they did, where was the impact to the game to bring the eyes to the?
I get what you're saying though, man. Like Caitlin Clark brought the casual fan to it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong.
But
go ahead.
The grand scheme of women's basketball, I appreciate that, but I don't think that that's enough to overshadow these 5 women that I think that I would put above her. That's all I'm saying. And maybe 5.
And I'm not, again, I don't follow college like that enough to know. All I'm saying is I just know that the impact to the amount of people that want to see college, like for real, I've heard commentators and just regular casual fans more excited about the Final Four and the women's division than they were with the men.
That's
what I'm saying. But I'm
for the
saying
last
a lot
2-3
of
years.
And who was there? Caitlin Clark. That's what I'm saying. As far as like, and even that, and then that transferred over to the WNBA to where people were upset that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark didn't make the team USA. Not for anything.
But here's my thing. But here's my thing. Okay, let me ask you this. If Jordan does not have the championships, do you have him over LeBron on your GOAT list? If Jordan didn't have 6 championships, right? If all Jordan had was the college championship, right, and he didn't have the 6 rings, and he did everything that you saw him do, except that he didn't win championships, do you have Jordan as the GOAT?
Yes, because of the impact that he had to the game of basketball. There's something, I watched this video, and while I understand this guy had a lot of, it's you can any person that, like, if you support LeBron, you got your facts and things that you can pull, and same for Jordan. But one of the things he said, this is when impact is important. Are we standing in line trying to get tickets to get some Jordans? Are we standing in line getting tickets to get some LeBrons?
I don't like that. See, I don't.
You might not like it, but I'm answering your question though. What I'm saying, impact for me means a lot. It's the same reason why AI may not have won championships or whatever. but AI's impact on the game is significant.
That's true.
James Harden's impact on the game is significant. Kevin Durant's impact on the game is significant. And yes, I know KD has a championship. And Steph Curry's influence on the game has significance to where now, if people bring up Steph Curry in a conversation talking about possibly being a GOAT conversation, it impact means something to me.
I feel what you're saying, but Steph is not in the GOAT conversation if he doesn't win the championships. And for that matter, Jordan is not the GOAT to me if he doesn't have 6 championships. If he has 3, maybe, but if you tell me that Jordan, if you wipe out his championships and all you have are all of the highlights, all of the shoes, all of everything, he's not the GOAT to me. That's just like to me saying Tom Brady could be the GOAT if he didn't have the Super Bowls. Like, no, that comes to me, being the GOAT means that you've done both. You've transcended the sport and you got rings to show for it. You ain't got to have the most rings, but I'm saying you can't call yourself a GOAT. Sit in my face. There's one person who I can tell you, there is one person who I can think of that's a GOAT with no rings in their sport. And that's probably Wayne Gretzky. And I don't know if Wayne Gretzky actually won when he was at Edmonton. I maybe he did. All I know is that by the time I start checking for Wayne Gretzky, he was with LA Kings, and he never won a ring since when I saw him. But everybody regarded him as the greatest.
Did Tracy McGrady ever win?
No.
Okay. Do you have him in high regard as you do Charles Barkley?
I have him in high praise conversations, not in the highest regards as Charles Barkley.
Okay.
No.
So it's like, to me, right? I don't know a person that doesn't know that. I mean, obviously, unless you're in a younger generation, never saw Charles Barkley play, I get it. But I'm saying our generation, right? We know the type of player Charles Barkley was. This man had a shoe deal. You know, he was, doing all the things and never won a ring, right? But his impact to the game was still there. Okay, last question about it. Who do you have as a better player? Charles Barkley or Dwight Howard?
Okay, that's different. Better player or greater player?
Mm-hmm.
Greater player, Charles Barkley. Better, yeah. Regardless of how you put it, Charles Barkley. Both of them. I thought about something.
Okay.
Charles Barkley, either way, better player and also greater player. And the reason why I say that is that, for one, the biggest nod is that Charles Barkley has an MVP in the Jordan era, right? And even though Jordan probably should have won it that year, Charles Barkley still got it. And I just think that Dwight Howard just was a different physical specimen. But I think that Charles Barkley also was somewhat of a physical freak given his stature. So yeah, I would say Charles Barkley. And it's not. Yeah, I had epiphany there.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I don't think your conversation about what you were saying is invalid. I just to me though, impact matters a bunch to me, because if you impact a game to where something changes, then that's significant to me, even though, because we know how hard it is to win a championship. And don't get me wrong, I know that propels you into a different conversation once you win the championship. And you're putting up numbers as well.
Here's the thing. If Caitlin Clark would have won one championship, I think she could have been going down as the GOAT then. But I think that because she don't have one, now listen, because she don't have one, now it kind of has me thinking, is Paige over her on the all-time list? Because Paige did have that one year where she tore the ACL and it took her a little bit to bounce back. But Paige was a 4-time All-American while she was out there at UConn. Since she's been there, every year that she's played a full season, she's been there, and she only has been limited to the one championship, though, man. That's the only nod. But golly, though, bro.
Is Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark?
No.
But don't she
No,
got the
not
ring?
at all. No, I think that the difference to me is this. You know how like when this is the only thing. I think that Angel Reese was a key contributor to her ring. I just think that she was clearly on a better team. And I think that Caitlin Clark was the underdog. I think that that's probably people think that, oh, it's just because she's this white girl and she's shooting all these threes. I think that realistically, though, man, I think that everybody knew that Iowa's was her. And I think that LSU had more pieces around her, though. So, no.
Yeah.
I don't think she's better all time.
Okay. Bro, what's up with this? What's up with this Bow Wow Omarion beef?
Did you? Well, first of all, did you know that they had beef?
No, I did not. I mean, I kind of watched some of the Cam interview before we were going to talk about it, and this is my thing, right? This. Okay, I don't know because Bow won't talk about it. Omarion said he didn't even know they had beef. I mean, obviously they knew that there was some tension because they don't really conversate. You know, they're on the Millennium Tour. They're in the same building. They have to pass each other, but they don't talk. But there's no bad wishes towards anybody. You know, like Bow said, we grown, bro. Like, you know, I'm 38. This man 40. We got kids.
Was mind blowing to think about, bro.
Yeah.
Now you know how. Listen, do you know how mind blowing it is when I sit there and think, damn, Lil Bow Wow is 38 years old.
Yeah.
Omarion, Lil B2K now, right? And in 4 years just seems like 10 years. It's just mind blowing to think about all the young people who we thought were so much younger are like really this whole time have really been like peers because you think Chris Brown is knocking on 40 himself, right? And so that dog, listen, when he said their age, I said, God, dog, bro. And everything else, their beef almost went out the window. I said, damn, Lil Bow Wow is 38 years old.
Right. But the crazy part is, though, is Bow seems to always be in beef with somebody. JD,
Hey.
beef. Omarion, beef. Like, it's always people that's close. The Brat, beef. Like, it's always him. Like, he's the common denominator. And I like Bow. Don't get me wrong. This ain't no hate on Bow because I like Bow. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just calling a spade a spade. He is the common denominator. If there's beef, it's always him. And I don't know what his zodiac sign is or whatever, because he does not like to, like,
He a Virgo, bro.
He ain't no Virgo. Ain't no way. He ain't no damn Virgo. He got to be a Cancer or something, bro. But all I'm saying is, when he's in a beef with somebody, he holds on to grudges, bro. He holds on to grudges.
Now listen, okay, so he's born in March. So what is March?
Is it a Pisces or something?
March 19th. I don't know. I don't follow the zodiacs like that though. March 19th, whatever that is. Let me see something, bro. He's a Pisces, bro. So
Sarah's a Pisces.
I don't really. Yeah, you know what's crazy? I don't listen. I think that zodiacs are like some of the most ridiculous things that people hold on to. They're like, oh, you know the Pisces. Oh, you know. But I can't lie.
I'm about to say.
I can't lie. Every time I've ever read and heard someone describe a Sagittarius, it's been right, bro. It's been right on.
Hey, and I'm true to a Virgo too, so I'm all about it.
I hate it. But listen. So listen, maybe it's because Lil Bow Wow. He's always gonna be Lil Bow Wow to me. right? And so because he's always going to be Lil Bow Wow to me, it's like it ain't a flex to be beefing with Lil Bow Wow. And listen, I understand that he's about to be 38, but to me, I still see a 12-year-old, bro. And so it's like, and it don't matter if he got a beard, it don't matter how many kids he got. He's still Lil Bow Wow, and you can't be beefing with Lil Bow Wow, bro. Like
Or how
it's not
incredible
a
his roster is either.
Oh yeah. I don't know, bro. But I didn't know they had beef until this recent interview with Cam Newton, and he said something because I've never heard Omarion speak on it. But I do respect the fact that they don't let their particular issue stop the money because that Millennium Tour is coming on, and they stay on that though. So and listen, surprisingly, it's just I'm very surprised that the Millennium Tour is still such a big deal because I think, bro, they were still teens, at least
Well,
early 20s when this was coming out.
I'm proud of it for one reason, but also at the same time, so Omarion did throw some shade on the Breakfast Club. They asked him about features, if him with Bow would do another joint project together, whatever the case may be, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna be honest, I ain't trying to do nothing with nobody that don't have a song at least within the last 3 years." It's a shot. Now, mind you, Chris Brown and Bow Wow just released a new song. So, and so that is the thing. But what I am grateful about the fact that the Millennium Tour is still going on, because us as black people, bro, for some reason, we put our people out to pasture, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, Boys to Men was just here in Oklahoma City, but they was performing at the casino, which has a decent arena, but it ain't the Paycom Center. They should have been, Boys to Men should have been down at the Paycom where the Thunder play, right?
Yeah.
But the Millennium Tour can still come to Paycom and it would still do well. So the fact that we're holding on to something that we grew up with and is still doing numbers, I think that's impressive off of catalogs that's older catalogs.
I do like the fact that when I see people pulling up for the Millennium Tour, that it is our age. It is people that are our age and our demographic that is gonna pull up for these. So I do. I think that one of the things that I do find to be interesting, though, man, is that to your point, I never see like rock and roll do this. I never see country music do this. I always bring up Garth Brooks, bro. They still are waiting for if Garth Brooks goes on tour, it's selling out, right?
Yes.
If any
you
of the if any yes, let you two go up there. Let they so well paid off and so well off that like this is the perfect example. Like Systems of a Down is one of my favorite rock groups. They came out with the last album they came out with. I was like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. They came out with a song that they did for charity, and it did all kind of numbers, basically, though, bro. And I think that it's always I'm always blown away by that. You think about that. If Nirvana went on tour right now,
Guns
you know
N'
what I'm saying?
Roses,
If Guns N' Roses went on tour
Metallica.
right now, they are selling out arenas, and it's arenas. You ain't gonna see no Nirvana at the casino. Like, are you serious? So I don't know, bro. But listen, but that's us. But when you talk about hip hop, though, after 5 years, hip hop is trying to get rid of you, bro. He in if you lucky. But
Yeah.
after
They're trying to
5 years, they getting you up out of there, though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll listen to somebody though, bro, who I know that 5 years ago. I got the perfect one. What's my boy? Roddy Rich. Oh, when the box came out and all that other stuff, I thought I said, yo, he that next one, right? I told my bro, I thought he was out of here. I thought he was gonna be not the next Chris Brown or whatever, but he was gonna be the next big sensation. And then, he just wasn't really in for it like that. And then before you know it, he had that first album that did well. I don't even know if anybody heard of a second album from him just yet, though. But you know, when it's come on, his songs come on, landing them are just like, oh, this is so old. I'm like, boy, you 15. And they talk about, oh, it's old because he was 10 years old when this came out, though, bro. I'm like, yo, it's crazy. I don't know. I just thought our Wi-Fi was undefeated on over here, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that's yours or mine that was fading out.
I saw that thing lag out. I didn't get that Wi-Fi sound that it was me, so I thought it was you.
Oh Lord, man, I'm still connected over here though, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we connected, but you took an L for a second. Hey, what else on the docket, bro?
Hey, man, we finally had time to talk about it. Anthony Edwards, bro. Hey, listen, man. Anthony Edwards is setting a whole new precedent because I've never seen this before.
Okay.
So apparently, man, Anthony Edwards has a girl pregnant who also had a baby by a little baby. And she's an older chick. She's like in her late 30s. Antman's still about 23, 24, basically, though, man. And so Anthony Edwards apparently gave her before they agreed to have an abortion, gave her some money for the abortion. And then she was kind of like, yeah, I kind of changed my mind. Naturally, people would think, oh, she's trying to trap him, trying to go ahead and get more money, whatever. After he already paid her for the abortion, gave her some bread. And maybe people were right, maybe they weren't, but ultimately, she released some of the text messages between them, and he was just like, listen, why would you want to have a baby? I'm telling you, I don't want to have this kid with you. I'm telling you that I don't want to have nothing at all to do with you in general. So she was just like, I'm going to go ahead and have this baby anyway. Anthony Edwards, I guess, pulls out the reverse Uno card and says, listen, I told you I ain't want to do, here's a whole $1 million, 1.8 or 0.8 or whatever it was. Say, here's all of the child support for a full 18 years, all in a lump sum. Boom. Don't ask me for nothing else, though. I got to know from you, is this the start of something new? And whose side are you on this?
I think this is a opportunity to say that all things can be true. Again, her body, her choice. I think this is going to be a new precedent, but I think the only difference is it's got to be in writing up front. Because if we agree that you are, think about it. NBA players, athletes, actors, this, that, and other, celebrities, they have to get NDAs and stuff signed to protect their investments, right? So right. Because it's hearsay that says, oh, we agreed to get the abortion. It's my word against yours, right? It's like, no, we never agreed to do that. So, okay, well then why did I give you the money? Like there's all of that, right? So if we're gonna say as men, we have been here lately saying her body, her choice. So if we agreed in the beginning to get the abortion and then you chose not to do that, you're choosing to keep it. And then if I also have the choice on how I want to take care of the financial obligation of it, because if I was upfront with, I was on the bandwagon for you to terminate the pregnancy because of the fact that I didn't want the involvement, regardless of how we got to the point that we got pregnant. The point is this is what the conversation was. I told you I wasn't in. So you can forget the morality behind it, as far as like people want to be like, oh, well, if she choose to have the baby, he need to be in the baby life because the baby didn't choose to be here. That I get it. That we get all of that. We know that part of it, that piece of it. But from just what was presented, if they had the conversation, this what was agreed upon, and you're choosing to do this, and I still decide to give you the financial piece of it, then we're done. And I don't see it being wrong on his part, because it was a conversation. Now, granted, again, you can throw in the whole thing about, oh, his baby's gonna be able to go back and see that he ain't want nothing to do with it, or him or her, or whatever the case may be. Get all of that. and he's probably prepared for that. And also, Anthony Edwards is young. You know what I'm saying? He might feel differently later. You know what I'm saying? But I do think this is going to be something you'll see in the future where dudes is going to be like, no, I don't want nothing to do with it. And boom, here's now. Then you got to look at what's going to be the price. It's a lot. It's
See,
going to be
that is the thing, because he basically paid her equivalent to $5,000 a month for 18 years, right? And that seems like a number that a lawyer basically said, this is what I think is a realistic number that we can go ahead and draw. My thing is this. What the only thing that kind of makes him feel like a slime ball, I'm not so concerned about the relationship with him and her. If he gave up his parental rights, right, which is, it sounds like it's like, all right, you wanted this baby, you got a baby here, boom, the baby is gone on, go ahead. I don't want to have nothing to do with you because I told you that, and I don't want to have nothing to do with this baby because I told you that. And if you giving up your whole parental rights, though, bro, it does make you look a little slime ballish. But with that being said, I look at it like this. This is the way I look at it.
okay.
I look at it like this. I understand that it is your body, your choice, and I understand that you can do something about it. You could just wear condoms. You could just protect yourself or whatever, whatever. But if you tell me that you're pregnant early on, 2 months, 3 months, within that time, that's allowable within abortion. But if I'm a dad and I tell you, and this is regardless of how much money you make, I do kind of feel like, not even kind of, I do feel like I told you that I don't want to have, that I don't want to, I'm not ready to be a dad. I don't want to have kids with you, whatever, whatever. And I understand that you might choose otherwise. But if you choose to have this baby without my consent as well, then I shouldn't have any obligations at all, because we've had this whether it's that, I don't know if it has to be an agreement or whatever it has to be. I don't think that guys should necessarily have to be obligated to take care of kids if the mother knows that he did not want to have these kids and I decided on my own that I still want to go ahead.
Well, that's the part where I said that's where the court would have to get involved, because you have to
Yes.
my word against yours. The only thing that I think would have saved him if he decided to pursue it is because if he gave her the money to get the abortion and she chose differently, well, you accepted the money for the abortion. Technically, that should be it.
Yes.
Technically.
So
that's where I say he went above and beyond that, because he could have said, I gave you, this is what we agreed upon. I gave you that to do that. You chose not to do it. And here we are. So I feel like if he gave her then the 18 years worth of child support, he kind of don't look like a sucker. It's so weird because there's so many variables involved, because you got to think of morality. Because I mean, you talking about two people who love their kids, right?
Yes, but that's my thing. Let's just say hypothetically, he's not a celebrity. He's just a regular guy, and this girl says, "Hey, I'm pregnant," right? And maybe her personal choice is that she don't believe in abortion, and this dude is like, "Listen, I don't want to have. We had a one night stand. I don't even really like you. Yeah, I should have been. When I went and shot up the club, you knew that I was as well, though, right? So it's like you didn't protect yourself. I didn't protect myself. But now you decide that you want to. I think that just, I don't know, man. Part of me just feels like having a kid should be just like how sex is consensual. Having a kid should also be consensual. Like one person's choice shouldn't be more, like the mother's choice shouldn't be that much more than the guys. If the guys came out, and this is just as an act, like you said, as active fathers, though, bro, I don't think that motherhood necessarily trumps fatherhood. And that's with respect to women carrying. I understand that whole thing. But I guess I just think that a guy shouldn't in most cases, it's like it's still the relationship with the mom, not just the relationship with the kid that guys still have to, live with.
It is tough. It is tough. It is tough because when you say then let the courts deal with it, because the court can't then tell her to get the abortion.
Facts.
It's just like, listen, if you're going to keep this baby, then you are then responsible, because he was upfront with saying that he wanted nothing to do with it. But that's again where the whole hearsay, my side against your side is included in that. So it is very weird, but I don't
That's you
think
giving up your parental rights from before birth. You are basically giving up your. And listen, that's one thing that I could never see myself doing, is giving up my parental rights. But I'm saying though, like, it's not everybody doesn't see it the way I see it either, though, man.
but you
But
also
to give
understand
up
where
your,
he's coming from.
I can understand why you were giving up that before the baby was even born. You're saying I just don't but hey. But what does that say about her though, right? Not the victim bash and shame somebody, but
Yeah.
still, he's basically saying, "Listen, hey, I don't want to have nothing to do. Just get here this money. That's what you wanted. Now beat it. I don't want to have nothing to do with you." And he said that in the text messages that she put on out there, though, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy to me that somebody would say, you was only in it for the money. You wasn't in it because it does. And she has a baby by a little baby, right? And now she has it. It does make her look like she's trying to be a professional baby mom. What's Bow Wow's baby mom, who also has a baby by Future, who also has a baby by the boy Diggs? It kind of makes it look like, especially given her age, that she is trying to be a professional celebrity baby mom, though, bro, and get that secure that bag because hey, she secured $1 million through it, though, bro. And it's like, hey,
I mean, I get it, and her baby should be well taken care of. So I mean,
should be.
it's you can't go from having a baby with Future and then getting a baby from somebody that work at Kenny Shoes. You just can't do it.
Wait, listen, shout out to Kenny Shoes now. Shout out. Shout out to Kenny Shoes now. Hey, here's this, but listen, this is the flip side of it. The flip side of it for me, right, is that hypothetically speaking, if I have a baby with Kelly Rowland, right, and Kelly Rowland says, "Hey, I don't even want this baby. I'm gonna give you $1 million." I would accept $1 million from Kelly Rowland to raise a baby, by myself, right? With the $1 million in my pocket, I would accept Kelly Rowland's $1 million. I would accept Beyonce's $1 million, bro. I would accept, me personally, if I'm her, like I would. Now she has the control, being the woman, as to you can dead all this and hit this all in the butt to begin with. But if as a man who loves kids and who is about family, if right now, if Kelly Rowland says, "Hey, we had this baby, and I don't want it. I don't want to get rid of it, but I don't want to be a mama to this baby," for whatever reasons Kelly Rowland would say that, I would gladly accept $1 million from Kelly Rowland to raise my baby, though, by myself, though, man.
That would be Laura London for me, brother.
If Laura London, if you had a baby by Laura London, and Laura London says, "Hey, here go $1 million because I don't want it at all," I wouldn't even speak badly about her if that happened. I'm saying, like, I would accept $1 million, and I would be fine with raising a baby solo dolo, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm getting all kind of sympathy. It's gonna be crazy, but anyway, yeah. I think
I would be all right, bro.
Yeah, I do think that we're gonna start seeing more of this, unfortunately. Yeah, I think as long as I think paperwork is gonna start being involved, though.
What if she? What's crazy? I'm just saying. What if she genuinely just wanted to be with him? I guess he could have been, because he's already with the girl, so she was a side chick. He's already with another girl who I believe also is pregnant, also. So I don't know, but what if it really was about her being with him? Like that would
I mean,
make his comments.
it still takes two people to be in a relationship. So no, regardless of what her intentions were, because she could have easily had him put on a condom. She could have easily. I mean, there's a lot that could have been done, and I'm not putting this on her. I'm just saying it's two people involved in all phases of that particular situation, and
And
so
women specifically, you knew he was going raw though. Like you could like that's how you and I always be talking about it. Like it would be easier. It should be easier for a woman to have sex than a man,
it
right?
is.
Because you control who if it's gonna happen. So at the end of the day, it's like, are you knew, are you controlled that it was gonna happen? And by the way, he was comfortable with the raw dog. So that's what makes her look like, oh, okay, well, seeing that you've been down this road before, you know what I'm saying? That it makes her look. Unfortunately, it makes her look like it's easy to kind of shame her for it, though, man. But you know, hey, I don't know, bro.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
mean, I
mean,
guess little baby money, and Antman money is different kinds of money.
it is, and let's be honest, bro. Ant don't got the stellar record either when it comes to these situations. So again, you
True.
kind of knew what you was getting yourself into. And again, I'm not putting this on her because it was two people involved, but I do think that this is going to be a new thing that we're going to start to see, especially if if I can do a one and done payment. I re up on an NBA contract and can just break off 2 mil real quick and be good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't let
Yeah,
one of
man.
these soccer players or baseball players or something get that
Hey,
money.
listen, the soccer players are gonna be vicious though, bro, because they got that money. That's like the baseball players are gonna be animals with it because they money. I saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just signed something like a 12-year deal for like $500 million or something like that. It's stupid though, bro. And $1 million to him is probably a car.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man,
Yeah,
listen, we appreciate y'all boys for joining the Slash Brothers podcast from ATL all the way to OKC. OKC. We appreciate y'all. Join us next Tuesday back at our original time of 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. EST. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
peace.